Okay, hi.
Hi.
So we're talking about money and finances.
Yes.
And do you have a weekly budget?
Yes.
And what is it? I mean, how are you budgeting?
Well, what I do is my money comes in monthly. So each month, the first thing I do is put my bills money away. I
Mm.
have a separate account for my bills money. So I put that in right away. So all my bills are covered.
Right, so that's your electricity, your gas.
Electricity rates, water, all my taxes, everything. It's all in the bills
And
money each month.
is that the same amount each month, or does it
It's
change?
I put a set amount in each month that more than covers my bills.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I get anything unexpected, it was like if I got a vet's bill or something like that, I know there'd be enough money in there to pay any bill that comes in.
Okay. Okay. So your rates do fluctuate, but
I
you're
pay a
prepared for
set
that.
amount in each month.
Okay. Yeah.
So some of that money accumulates. So if I get an unexpected bill, I can still draw it out of that account.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I give myself a set budget then for the month, which I separate into weekly,
Mm.
and then I stick to that budget each week.
So, for example, for food, how much are you spending on food each week?
It depends. It's normally between 40 and 60, depending on whether I have to buy soap powder or whether I buy. Of course, that includes my dog food
Mm.
and I buy bird food.
Okay, so the bird food isn't necessary. Do you think you could be stricter with your budgets?
Yeah, but you have to realise that feeding the birds and seeing the birds in my garden gives me a lot of pleasure. So for what that costs me, that's my entertainment, isn't it?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. But do you find that when you're going around the supermarkets, are you looking at the prices, or you see things, you like it, you put it in your trolley?
No, I write a list each week and I try to religiously stick with my list of what I need. And I rarely put anything extra in.
Okay, you say
I'm,
rarely, so
I'm well, it changes, doesn't it? Because you might have something on your list in the vegetable line,
mm,
and then when you get there, something else is in season, so you change your mind. But I don't just go around picking up from shelves. I normally stick to my list.
sure. In my case, I don't make a list. I just go there and I think, oh yeah, I might want that during the week. When I was a student, I had a budget, and I would make a list. But now I don't really bother. I used to eat quite frequently noodles. I'd have maybe a packet a day, and because they were cheap in the UK, they were 11p per packet.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, so I would eat two packets in one meal, and then yeah, that enabled you to have a very low budget. If you wanted to eat noodles every day for every meal, then you could do it for maybe, I don't know, that would come to £5, £6. So it's entirely possible cheap, but the diet's not good, of course.
no, it's not. And I try to have a sensible diet,
Yeah.
so I try to vary it quite a bit. I like all the vegetables.
Mm.
Um, and I don't make a list as such. What I do is like today I've run out. I know I'm going to run out of marmalade tomorrow, so that's gone on my list today because I know that I'm going to be completely out of it.
Right, and right now you're going to be shopping less frequently because obviously we're in a lockdown.
That's right. Well, I've been fortunate. I shopped last week and I had basically enough for 2 weeks. but a friend has said that they will shop for me tomorrow.
Mm.
So I've put some odds and ends down that I would like to have, like some fresh vegetables and what else did I add on? I added on some, oh, I've forgotten the name of it, buttermilk.
Yeah, okay, buttermilk. Okay.
Um, just something that I would like to have because I thought I could make some scones or something.
Okay, yeah, and they're going to drop that outside your door, and then you're going to wait for maybe 72 hours before you take it in, or you're going to clean the packaging.
I'll clean the packaging and put it away probably.
Yeah, okay. I think if anything, this lockdown is for me, it's making me save money because I would eat out a lot. But now I don't trust the takeaways. I don't think that they have the hygiene standards that you would need. I mean, I can't imagine they're wiping all the surfaces and washing their hands every time they're touching a surface. I can't imagine that they're taking all the precautions that we are taking at home.
No.
And certainly not the delivery drivers or, you know.
I mean, I don't eat out a lot, but it's strange. I think because I stay in a lot on my own, this lockdown feels differently because I haven't got a choice.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When you know you can go out, but you don't want to, it's fine. But when you're told that you can't go out, that's when you really want to go out. And I think most people, we can spend the weekend not doing anything. I certainly do that. People, they're like, oh, you want to go out? Nah, I'm watching a video. I'm watching Netflix. And now all of a sudden they want to go to the countryside. They want to go on walks and hike and do things which they never did before. So
No, well, fortunately, I'm in the countryside, so I can still walk my dog down the road in the mornings.
yeah, although always remembering to stay within 1 kilometer of your house, of course.
Well, I don't normally see anybody, so it's not important.
Yeah, so if you want to not get in trouble with the police, you should go to the countryside. So do you think that you're a rich person, or do you think that you're poor?
Neither. I would say that I am comfortable.
Yeah.
And the reason I would say that is because I have enough money to pay my bills,
Mm.
I have a roof over my head,
Mm.
and I have enough money to buy food.
Sure.
I can't splash out a lot on luxuries, but I have enough for all my needs, so I would say I'm comfortable.
Okay, so you don't feel like you're restricted in any way. You're not making difficult decisions between doing this or doing this. You're not. You don't feel like you have these difficult choices.
Yeah, sometimes I have to make choices, but I don't think that's a bad thing
Mm.
because it makes you think, do I need it?
Mm. Mm. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that makes you poor. I guess these labels of rich and poor, they're not so helpful, and it doesn't really explain each person's individual situation. The other thing that we can see here, the question is about beggars. If you give to beggars, people who are asking for money on the street or outside the supermarkets.
Occasionally I have given, but I'd rather give them a tin of dog food if they've got an animal, or give them something practical than give them money. And what does surprise me is you get the same. We have a particular beggar outside of the post office,
Mm.
and sometimes you wonder if they're getting more money than you, because if everybody gives them even 50 centimes.
We should say that centimes is not the English word, that's the French word. We would say 50 cents, yeah?
Oh, 50 cents. Well, it's, it mounts up and they're not actually working for it, are they?
Well, I don't know. I think I wouldn't want to do that job. If you consider it a job, I wouldn't want to do the job where you're putting yourself out there to say, hey, I'm desperate. Or, but I see what you mean, that if everyone gives them money, they're going to make a lot of money. And they
Yes.
do make you feel guilty as you go in the shop. I don't like walking past beggars.
Yeah, and I did see an item once in the UK newspaper of somebody that made a phenomenal amount of money just by sitting in the high street begging, and they had a lovely place to live and plenty of money, but they earned so much money by just sitting there doing nothing.
Mm. So
And
it's a
so,
shame. It's a shame that these people exist, because obviously a lot of the beggars, they actually are beggars. They actually are in a difficult situation, some of them.
but sometimes I get into conversation with them,
Mm.
and then depending on their circumstances, I might give.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. When I was in Spain, in Algeciras, there was a beggar at the local shop just across the street from me. And on the first day that I saw him, he was talking to me, and then he asked for money. And I gave him some money. But then every day after that, I would see him, and he would see me come out of my house, and he would always come over, have a conversation, and then ask for money. And if on some days I couldn't give money because I didn't have my wallet with me, or I didn't have change in my wallet, or maybe I needed to be cautious sometimes with my money myself. So, I don't want to become homeless in the process of giving a homeless person money.
No,
Uh,
no,
so
no.
yeah, I didn't give it, and then he was I don't know, he wasn't very nice the days I didn't give him money.
You're
So
right, because if you're on a tight budget yourself, you can't always afford to, can you?
no, no. So yeah, when you go to the supermarket and you're buying food for yourself, obviously this is a necessity to have food. But when you walk past a beggar, you almost feel guilty that you come out of the shop and then you don't give, and then okay, you feel bad. And I don't know, it's not nice, because there is assistance there, I think, right? There is, I mean, they can have access to food. There's soup kitchens.
Yeah.
At least in the cities, there's stuff available. I don't know about now. Do they still have the soup kitchens now during the lockdown? Don't know.
Oh, no. I tell you what I did do that a couple of weeks ago. I was in the Carrefour before the lockdown,
Mm,
and there was a collection there that you have people inside, and they're actually asking for food for the poorer people.
yeah.
And I always buy several items um, to put in their basket. And I
But lots of people always buy the same things. They always buy the cheap beans, or
No, I didn't do that. I actually bought some items that I would have bought for myself.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't buy the pasta and the things like that. I tried to think of that. I bought they were asking for toiletry,
Mm.
and I bought toothpaste, razors, panty liners, and um, items that I thought other people wouldn't buy.
And did you feel pressured though? Because when you see these people in the
No,
supermarket and they give you the piece of
no,
paper in the bag, you don't feel pressured.
no. They gave me a leaflet when I went in.
Mm.
They handed me a leaflet, and it was my choice if I bought things in the supermarket.
Sure, but if you came out with your bag empty and you had your full shopping trolley, and didn't give anything, you would feel bad, right? Or you'd feel judged in some
No,
way.
no, because I went in another shop the next day,
Mm.
and again it was a different shop, and they had people collecting, and I said, "Oh, I gave quite a bit yesterday," and
Ah.
so I was honest about it. I mean, I'd spent quite a bit the day before because I felt it was a genuine cause.
So similar to the people that ask for money, the chuggers that you see on the street, the people asking for money for charities. Do you like what they do? Do you? I
I
mean, do you like?
rarely give money to charity.
Sorry.
I rarely give money to charity. I
And
don't mind.
why are you not a charitable person?
No, it's not that. Um, it depends very much on the charity because in lots of charities, and I've worked with it,
Mm,
where they were collecting for something for a hospital,
mm,
and the board that was sat deciding where the charity money was spent
mm,
were claiming expenses.
yeah.
And they all had large cars which they claimed petrol for. When they came to meetings, they had a lunch brought in, and all that came out of the charity money.
Mm,
And I decided then and there I would only give to charities that I knew didn't take expenses out.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I
And
don't
then
know.
I,
In the case, when I was working in Southampton for the organization called Clear, and they were helping refugees and asylum seekers, giving them English classes and helping them with IT and helping them with administration. Um, this with this organization, they claimed expenses, but it was on bus tickets and stuff like this.
that's different.
Yeah.
But it's when you get a board of directors that are collecting for a large charity and they're taking money out.
Yeah,
It
which
was
could be any kind of large organization, but they do a
yes,
lot of good as well, right?
it was similar when Lauren, my granddaughter, was going to go to Africa for a charity,
Yeah.
and they were going to take books and pens out. And I asked her, "Who is paying for your flights?"
Mm.
And all the flight money, all the people going out, all that flight money was being taken out of the charity money.
Ah, yeah.
So I didn't give. And I know that she was upset that I didn't give, but I said no. I said, if you come to me and you say, can you give me some money towards my flight? I would have said yes.
Mm.
But she was collecting for the charity. That's what she said. And yet the flight money, so in other words, like £200 or £300, perhaps even more, she had to collect for that charity, paid for her flight before a penny went to the charity.
Sure, and I guess if she was just there, what was she going to do there? She was just going to give books, or was she going to do something there?
Well, she was just going to take school things out and then spend time with the children.
Okay. Yeah.
So I said no.
Okay.
So am I mean or am I
I don't know.
generous?
It's true that in charities, in some cases, there are a lot of they waste a lot of resources. Yeah, if they're just sending books, then we can do that via the post. And
That's
if they're going to
right.
build a school, well, why not employ the workers there? Don't know. But I do get frustrated with people that say that, okay, we need to teach these people how to do things when I think they know how to do things, but they don't have the resources sometimes. So that's usually the problem, or corruption in their area. So I don't know if... I don't think we see that in the correct way, maybe. And I think that, with the lack of the waste of resources, that's definitely a problem, yeah. Okay. So do you have any money on saving... Sorry, do you have any money? Do you have any tips on saving money?
Tips on saving money. Yes, write a list when you go shopping.
Yeah.
I find it easier to carry cash because then I realise if I'm overspending. I always think if you're using cards, you don't realise how these €5 are mounting up.
Sure, yeah.
So I think, you use a card, and if you're not careful, and I write everything down, that bills wise, I write everything down in a book.
Mm.
If I do buy something, like if I was going to England and I was going on the ferry and I take that money out, I'll write that down I've got a page for extras in the book. So I know if I buy something extra, I can total it up at the end of the year and see how much I've spent on extras.
Okay.
So I'm very conscious of what I spend.
Okay, so your tip is just to make a record, just so you know what you're spending, and then hopefully you'll stop
Yeah,
spending as much. If you're spending too much, okay. Uh-huh.
you put it back in. Yes.
Okay, so thank you for that.
When we talk again, one
Yeah.
of the subjects that would be nice to talk about would be packaging.
Oh, well, we've already done that topic, Grandma. We've already looked at the environment.
That's a shame because I spent
Yeah.
so much this week where I opened a big box and I've only got half the contents in there.
Okay, but I think that's, the bag of crisps and stuff like that. Imagine if they didn't have air. If they didn't have air in a bag of crisps, then the crisp would be squashed.
I can imagine that, but I bought a box of bicarbonated soda
Yeah,
and the box was like so big, and when
yeah.
I opened it, it was only half full. So
Okay, so you think you're
it
being
could fit
conned.
in a smaller box.
Uh,
Yes, I
okay, but
don't
did it tell you how many tablets you would have, or... Oh no, it's bicarbonate
know.
soda. Did it tell you
It is.
how much soda was in the... I mean, you got the weight, right? You got the weight and the
Yeah.
volume.
But going back to money, the other thing I do, I don't just check the price,
Mm,
I check the price per litre or the price per kilo.
okay.
Because sometimes a product will look good, but when you check the price per kilo, you're better off buying the product next door.
Sure, so you do comparisons then. Wait, but you
Yeah.
don't shop at many supermarkets. You shop at one supermarket, right? You don't waste your time traveling to different supermarkets, right?
And no, I don't, but I don't shop in the same supermarket every week. Sometimes I go to Intermarché, sometimes Carrefour,
Mm,
sometimes Leclerc, because they're all in the area.
mm.
When I go out, I think, oh, I'll go there today and see,
Oh, so
you
it's not
know,
based on any information that you've seen online or anything like that, your
no,
decision.
no,
Oh,
just
okay, so...
personal choice. If I was going to, say, get something for the garden or for the dog from the
Mm,
garden centre, obviously one supermarket is closer than the other. So
mm.
if I was going somewhere else, I would go to the closest if I was going to the post office, say, I'd probably go to Intermarché.
Okay, so any supermarket which is on your route. Okay, so that's not really... You're not thinking about the cost there. You're just... you're thinking about convenience.
Convenience, yes, petrol,
Yeah.
and I still stick to my list, so I'm not going to overspend dramatically.
Okay. Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for talking with me, Adam. Bye for
Bye.
now.